Hello and welcome to our Women and Money series. My name is Micah Curry and today I'm joined by Moira O'Neill, the editor of MoneyWise. Moira, you did quite an interesting piece in your latest edition and also online about what your female readers, what advice and guidance they'd give their younger selves. And there were some interesting points there. Can you share some of those with us?
Yeah, well, one of the biggest things that they mentioned was the importance of not flashing the credit card too much when you're younger, and to make sure that you really rein in that spending on non-essential items. So one of the readers suggested that you calculate what your take-home pay is after income tax is paid, and you use that sort of hourly take-home pay to calculate how much you're going to have to work to buy a non-essential item. And that
so how many hours of work the item will cost you?
Yeah,
well, that'll make you think twice.
Absolutely, makes you focus. And others talked about the need to save for the long term. They wish they'd put aside more when they were younger. And others talked about, others who had actually been through divorce talked about how they would have managed that better.
So what are the tips in terms of within a family context, or if you've got a partner, what would they have done differently?
Well, some readers talked about, surprisingly I thought, about joint accounts and how you shouldn't have absolutely everything in a joint account with your husband and partner. You should maybe use a joint account to pay for the essential household bills that have to go out. So you both pay into that and the money goes out for your gas and electricity, etc. But you should also have a separate savings and current account that just for yourself, that you can build up
to ensure
funds
that's in the financial independence.
It's about financial independence. It's about freedom. Although ladies who had been through divorce pointed out, of course, that the lawyers, when they come to look at a couple's assets, will look at everything altogether anyway. But going through that process, they said it would have been much better to have their own funds available to them, would have made them feel better. And it's really a fund that can give you the freedom to make decisions and choices that you might not be able to if you didn't have the funds.
And I guess related to that is the importance of putting some money into a pension so you can ensure some pension wealth of your own.
Yeah, I mean, one of the readers had a really good point on this, so I'll just read it out. She said, do not rely on a man to fund your retirement. So much can happen in 40 years that you don't know what situation you're going to be in when you are in your 60s, and you can only rely on yourself. Even if it's only £10 a month to start with, it has plenty of time to grow.
Well, she makes an important point, because actually the stats show that more and more people are getting divorced in their 60s. They call them the silver separators. But you also had a celebrity contribute to the magazine, Kate Garraway, saying that she wished that she'd been more astute when she was younger.
Yeah, she's a TV and radio presenter, Kate Garraway, and she's just turned 50 herself, so she's been reflecting on what that means. And her advice that she would have liked to given to her 20-year-old self is to live your life, work hard, party hard, because that's how you'll become you. But do put some financial foundations in place as well. She talked about getting a pension early on, starting a savings account as soon as possible, and also setting up a direct debit so that savings go out of your account as soon as you earn the money, and that's a really good focus. She also talked about investing more in property.
So those are all very good tips, but I think women especially are very focused on cash and on property and are a bit reluctant to go into the stock market. But with interest rates as low as they are, really, if you want returns over the long term, you've got to take the plunge and look towards investing.
Yeah, and investing, so many women don't do it. But really, a lot of our readers said they wish they'd learnt more about the stock market when they were younger. They said even just to look at a long-term graph of what the stock market does over a period of 30 to 40 years really focuses your mind on the opportunity that you're missing by not investing. And really take out a stocks and shares ISA, get to grips with it, do something simple, but don't have everything in the savings account in the bank, because you're not going to beat inflation, are you?
No, you're not. And the key thing, by starting young, you've got the benefit of compound interest.
Yeah, well, that's the magical formula, isn't it? And you know, just to get to grips with that concept and how you can earn interest on interest, and your money builds over time, and the earlier you start, the greater the power of compound interest over time, is such an important thing to get to grips with.
Absolutely. So compound interest and credit cards, those are the two things we really need to get our heads around. Moira, thanks so much.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. Keep an eye out. There'll be more Women in Money videos from Moira and myself. Until next time, goodbye.